Welcome, my name is Bjorn Berendt, and this is the Google Weekly Podcast, which is part of the AskBj.net network of EdTech services. Never stop learning. This is Episode 2, Veterans and Their Families. Okay, in this episode, I want to talk about a new website that Google has set up. This is ideal for Veterans Day being last week, and it is Veterans and Families. The website is googleforveterans.com. It looks like it is made by the families of veterans and some also employees of veterans. And the way this website is structured is it actually has some nice, has tools for veterans and tools for families. There's no really extra new tools with this. What it is more of an organizing some of their own tools and explaining how they can be using it, but it's a very easy, well-developed website. So let's just go, and I'm going to click on Tools for Veterans. Clicking on this, and it talks about, talks about being able to record your military story. So keeping your military documents safe, retrieving photos, map where you have been, store and share some videos, record with your service. So it really is nice that it is giving these veterans, not only veterans, but currently deployed people, ways to keep in touch and ways to share their stories. So other things I can see through here, I see explore your life after the service. And this is helping them actually build resumes, create an online presence, track investments, really way of keeping in touch and sharing and getting back into, I guess it's called civilian life. I can't say that I am a veteran, but I do very much appreciate them. My father is a veteran. And keeping with the podcast, connecting with other fellow veterans. So another way of keeping and connecting with other ones. Looks like they have something coming soon where you can share a 3D tour of the places that you've served. Again, talk with other veterans with group chats, and I'm assuming a lot of this stuff is getting done through, looking through here, it's getting done through Google Plus and Hangouts and using Google Talk and all these other services. So it really brings all the services together and kind of helps them use them for their own purposes. Even so much as to talk about the calling, where if you are currently deployed, one of the nice things is it will allow you, Google Talk allows you to make phone calls right from within the system. And this is, I guess, free to veterans and our fellow people over the seas. So please take advantage of that. Going back to here, we have tools for families too. And this again talks about reading about issues, sharing your photo albums, keeping in contact, joining with other families that are in here. And that is very important, being able to keep in contact with other families that are doing this. And this also does it so they can keep in contact with the people overseas. I love what they're doing here, and I'm hoping that they're going to keep up the good work. Great, easy to read. The website is googleforveterans.com. Well, what else is new in Google this week? Let's see. Let's go on to, this is kind of a cool little tip. In Gmail, if you're on a Google Apps domain, if you go to your Gmail account and you click on Contacts, there is a new menu item in there. The new menu item is called, wrong account, hold on, Mail, Contacts, and it's called Directory. Now, the nice thing about this directory is it will list all the addresses that are found in the domain itself. Previously, you'll go to Contacts and you'll see all the contacts that you've emailed. Sometimes you haven't emailed somebody, but you still want to see it in their contact, in your contact list. when you started typing it, all of them would show up in the contact list. This is actually putting them into your contacts and a way for you to search for them in your contacts and work with them to create groups and other such things. Again, previously you'd have to either manually type it. This allows you to browse it. The other thing that is really new in Google is that administrators have a few more visibility options for Google Sites. So if you're an administrator in a Google domain, you can now, by organizational unit, go in and specify whether users are allowed to create new sites. They also can set the default visibility for newly created sites per organizational unit. What this means is that you can set it. I don't think you can take away the ability for students to post publicly per organization, but you can at least make the default for it to be closed. Or say administrators who are going to be making or web admins or something like that, where they are going to be creating many sites and they are going to be public, you can set the visibility options to be public. And this is also and because Google Sites is one of those products that can share publicly, with the ability to shut off per organizational unit whether someone can create a new site. You can have the teacher create the site and then share it with the students. So this is, again, another way that students can actually have Google Sites and benefit from these things, but the teacher can have some more control, and you can keep things a little bit more safe. And this concludes the What's New in Google section of the website. And let's talk about what's current in Google. Keeping in touch. I'm going to stick with that theme. And I want to talk about the fact that you can actually go into your Gmail or Google Talk and make phone calls right from within Gmail. Now, you can call any landline in the U.S. for free. And looking at their rates aren't too bad. From your phone, from your Gmail account again, France is 10 cents per minute. Germany is 10 cents per minute. India, 2 cents per minute. Mexico, it's 15 cents per minute. There is a connection fee that Google does put on there. And in the U.S., so any number, and this may change, but as of right now, you can call for free any number in the U.S. or Canada. This is so, and if you're calling from outside U.S. or Canada and you're calling into the U.S., it's going to be 1 cent a minute. So think about this. So now you can go into your Gmail. For anybody who's making long distance phone calls, this is a great way to keep in contact. The other person doesn't have to have Skype, doesn't have to have Gmail. We're not sitting there talking through the Google Chat or Google Voice. But what you're doing is you're literally making a phone call from your computer, calling out. So if you have a headset, it's going to be crystal clear. You're going to be able to work and talk to them. The other nice thing is it can also bring in other people, so you can do conference calling and several other features with this. Now, that brings me to the other thing. There's another feature, another application that Google offers, and that is Google Voice. I'm hopefully going to cover this a little bit more in a different show, but I thought I'd be bringing it in the fact of keeping in contact. Google Voice is I'm using it primarily as my voicemail system. From Google Voice, any voicemails that I get, and this is attached to my phone, it'll actually transcribe it into text, and I can either have it emailed me, I can have it read it on my phone, have it play on my phone, I can have it play on my computer just by going to voice.google.com, and I can go through and organize my voicemails. I don't need to go and listen to them in my phone and mark off, delete, or saved or something like that. I can visually see them. The ones I want to keep, I can delete. I can archive them the same way I would normally. I can send stars. I can star them up. This also works with texting, so my Google Voice number can be done via texting. And the Google Voice number also, and this is why I wanted to bring up Google Voice. And like I said, I'm going to try and cover it a little bit more in another show. But the number that I'm using within my Gmail chat is my Google Voice number. When you sign up for Google Voice, it'll ask you whether you want to associate with a particular number or whether you want to sign up for your own number. If you sign up for your own number, you get a few more features plus another phone number. You can also use your own cell phone number associated with it. You lose a couple features. In my case, I signed up for my own number, so the number you call for my AskBj business is 802-772-0003, and that's a Google Voice number. And the nice part about when you call the Google Voice number is I can have it rings my cell phone, it rings my computer, and I can have it ring other places too. I can have it go straight to voicemail. I can put in if there's people that I know is going to be calling me and I want them to come through. I can have them ring through with a different ringtone. I can get them to send a different voicemail. All kinds of great features with that. And that's the Google Voice number. So like I said, when you're calling out using the Gmail chat, it will call out via your Google Voice number. And like I said, you can either associate with a brand new number that Google will give you, or you can associate it with a current number. And it can also replace your voicemail system. And that's going to conclude the What's Current in Google section of the podcast. And this brings us to the app exploration section of the podcast. This is where I kind of go into the app marketplace in the Chrome Google store and just kind of pick an app that looks interesting and review it. These are not ones that I've used personally necessarily. These are just kind of ones that I'm going to look at the reviews and see what they do and just kind of play around and see what's out there. Keeping them with the theme of communications that we had going on in this podcast, I found SMS Communications Manager. And it was funny, I first started recording this, I didn't know what SMS stood for, so I actually had to do a quick Google search. And SMS stands for Short Message Service, which actually seems kind of appropriate because most SMS is basically those text messaging things where, like in Vermont, you can get pulled over if you're text messaging while driving. Please, no text messaging while driving. That is very unsafe. What this app does, it looks like it goes in and it allows you to actually send text messages through your phone from your computer. This app is free, and I have 5 reviews in here. And looking at the 2 that I can see right off the bat, someone says it's kind of like 2 stars, another one gives it 5 stars. And looking at it, it says the application looks nice, it works, but it needs 2 hours to send 150 SMS messages. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that guy is spamming. So the other one, love the product, has a live view incoming messages, able to reply from browsers versus picking up the headset, and sent from actual phone number. So I guess we have some people, depending on their uses, someone is trying to send out a lot of text messages at one time. This may not be the best tool, but then again, if someone is sending them out and looking for live feedback, a smaller user, it looks like it has a lot of great features for that. And the other part that they seem to be really like is it actually sends out using your own cell phone. So there's a way that it connects with your cell phone and sends them out. Looks like you can also have automated campaigns, so you can automate the whole process of sending them out. You can also tag incoming SMS in real time on the web. So it gives you a lot of great tools that you can use integrated with your cell phone and sending out text messages. The other one that I wanted to, now on to the next one, let's go look at the Chrome website or the Chrome web store. Again, this is if you're using Google Chrome. These are tools that are out there that are not necessarily specific to Google Chrome, but they do show up in the Google Chrome web store. And I found one that is the QR code generator. Now, if you don't know what a QR code is, what it is those little square codes. They're basically replacing barcodes. Barcode kind of goes across. The QR codes are square. The nice thing about the QR codes is pretty much anybody can create their own, and you can do different things with them. A lot of people put their contact information in. I actually probably should use this to enter in one for my website. So hopefully in the near future, you'll see a QR code on the Google Weekly podcast website. But looking at this thing, it seems very, very simple to use. You can choose the size that you want to put it in there. Going to the details, two-dimensional, read QR code, start the app. It looks like it can actually bring you to a website. So if you don't want to use Google Chrome and you just want to go to the website looks like www.the-qrcode-generator.com. And looking at the reviews, reviews seem to be quite positive. There's 83 reviews on this one, and it's gotten 4.5 stars. Very positive. And kind of going through here. Now it's become available on Android phones. No function on BlackBerry. Great app, really good. Of course, it works without problems. And that's someone who's using this with an iPhone. So it looks like it is a very easy to use QR generator. The QR generator is like a barcode that you can put in any information that you want to get entered in. You need a QR reader, which any smartphone out there, so any Android, any iPhone, probably a lot of the BlackBerries now also have a QR reader in there. It's probably just an app you put in there. And you would use basically the camera. You take a picture of the code, it goes into your computer, it gets transferred into text. And this is going to conclude today's show. So thank you very much for listening to the Google Weekly Podcast with your host, Bjorn Berendt. You can follow the podcast by going to www.google-weekly.net. Again, thank you for listening and never stop learning.